Hey everybody, James Robert Elliott here. I want to talk to you today with my good friend Joy. We're going to talk about the secrets to stop your repeating patterns in work, in relationships, and in your life. And learning how to stop these patterns, habits, and the subconscious or unconscious behaviors that ruin our lives, that rule our lives, and keep us stuck, unfulfilled, and unhappy. So welcome, Joy. It's been really great to have you here, and you and I developed a friendship over the years. It's been really interesting talking with you and having these conversations. So welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Very cool. So let's talk about these repeating patterns, right? You and I have had these things in our lives with work, with relationships, with people. Talk to me about some of these. Give us some examples, please, and then I'd love to hear your strategies for how to stop these.
So I just noticed that when I was growing up, maybe around 16 or to 18, I would have the same pattern of like friends or partners. And then I would stop for a bit because I noticed that it was not healthy for me. And then I would repeat it every decades almost, like at 20 and then the 30. And then now that I'm 37, I can't keep doing this. So I'm just basically right now to stop everything. And yeah.
Got it. So it sounded like my past. I had attracting, the same clients, the same type of friends, the same type of women, and it was interesting. And just the patterns. And you, like you said, you'd stop and take a break and screw it. I'm done with all this stuff, and then you'd start up again, and this pattern would repeat unconsciously, of course, and then attracting the same people. By the sounds of it, clients, same jobs, same prospects, same whatever. It sounds like that was happening for you every decade, like you said. Do you find? Did you find? I guess what were some of the biggest things you noticed, or how were you noticing these things? Like how did you finally realize? Oh my God, this is a pattern. This is happening. I keep attracting these people. What was it that had you realize that?
Well, it was the same outcome, maybe differently dressed,
Mhm.
perhaps like obviously different ages, or let's say they, um, for relationship wise, the guy may be more successful, but then he's not attentive, or like it was basically the same pattern but dressed differently.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense because you're right. We're the same, the wrong person, the same wrong client, the same wrong whatever for us comes, dressed differently or in different clothes or different attire, different colors, shapes, forms. So it's really interesting. What allowed you to realize that okay, this is just whether it's a job or a client or a man. What made you realize, oh my God, this is the same thing, just in different clothes or a different box, different package? What was it that had you realize that and pay attention?
Just the outcome of it, I
Mm,
don't realize it until the end,
mm,
because at the beginning, for example, if it's a client, then they seem to want the same thing, or relationship, the tentative, caring, thoughtful, and then afterwards it's like, oh, they already have your approval. Then
mm.
you notice that they're doing it to someone else, so you know that they are doing that same pattern.
Hmm. So it's the sounds like it's the observation, and it's just seeing behavior, right? It's like observing, paying attention, right? Paying attention and observing behavior as well. It sounds like that is one of the biggest ways, and just having our eyes wide open, versus eyes wide shut, and ignoring things, or not paying attention, or living in la la land because it's uncomfortable to look at the hard truth, to look at the stuff that sucks, and look at the our own patterns, or are attracting these people, whether it's relationships, friendships, whether it's work, whether it's jobs. whether it's clients. So I guess the message there is to have people just pay attention. And would you say, before I finish that thought, pay attention and notice other areas of their lives where that same pattern is happening? Is that helpful too? Could, by looking at other, like looking at their work or looking at their health or their play or their friends, or the romantic relationships, will that also help them see these patterns of themselves or people, or the people they're attracting, do you think?
Yes, I noticed that there is red flags, but you don't want to just disregard everybody, because that will be 99% of the people.
Fair
So
enough.
y- so after a while, like 5 years, then you try to give them a chance, and then you realize, yeah, there were red flags.
Got it. So it's that, again, it's that whole paying attention theme by the sounds of it, whether it's work, whether it's relationships, whether it's intimate. And you and I have had a lot of, a lot of ex-boyfriends, girlfriends with the same patterns, right? Sure, a lot of people have.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people laughing, seeing this, because they're like, "Oh yeah, me too, me too." We all have these patterns attracting certain people or certain events to us. Certain, maybe it's certain injuries, whatever it is, being laid off multiple times. I mean, I was laid off from huge companies, IBM and Novell, in the height of my career.
Oh,
That
wow.
was even, yeah, that was even a pattern for me. And it was like, okay, something is not working here. Height of my career, winning awards and President's Club and all kinds of stuff. But then getting laid off and having my division shut down. I'm like, okay, there's a theme here. What is going on? And what is life, or my brain or subconscious mind or God or whatever you believe in? What is this stuff? What is life trying to teach me, trying to tell me and show me? And it wasn't until the second time I got laid off that I started to pay more attention and get my head out of my ass, so to speak, and pay real attention and be like, oh wait, something's not working here. Something I'm doing is not working. And I think a lot of people need to pay. I'm curious on your thoughts, but I think a lot of people need to pay more attention when things aren't working, to patterns, to habits. Would you say people are not seeing patterns at first, or ignoring them, or why do they keep coming? And why, for you, for example, why did they keep coming up for you? Why did it keep happening? Was it not seeing them? Was it ignoring them? Was it pretending everything was okay? I'm curious to hear from you.
Well,
Um,
with the last relationship, I wasn't I'm I'm not always looking for a relationship. I'm
mhm.
thinking, "Oh, this person's cool. Let's hang out."
Yeah.
And most of the time, I realized that they already had like a 10 years plan for me. And and then I realized that it's not you, it's them. They have to work on themselves. You notice things because you've been taking time. Let's say every 5 years, 3 years, you've been working on yourself. You've been learning meditations, how to balance yourself, how to control your emotions, your insecurities, fear, whatever it may be, your trauma, past trauma, childhood, yeah, childhood trauma. But
Hmm,
they they haven't, because they will bring it up. Oh, my ex-wife cheated on me. It's like 20 years ago, for
hmm,
example. You can't bring that up. Or someone who is an alcoholic, who you don't really know until after.
hmm,
I don't know, it's like, but then I notice now that I'm looking at my pattern. I notice with my girlfriends, and I would say to them, if the roles were reversed and I'm you, and I have this issue, like let's say they're not happy with the baby father, what would you advise me? And they would say, I would tell you to run, like forget about it, raise your child on your own.
hmm.
And then they would do differently, and then at the end of 2 3 months they would do the same thing. I think it's because we want to give that chance. We want to say, yeah, I tried. And that's why we go through the through the issues, and and we know that we're going to go through it, and then it takes a few months to get out of it.
Fair. I think that's, and just like you said, spotting things and and paying attention and not naive. And yes, I do my best to see the good in everyone, but also realize that we all have work to do on ourselves. And I like that
Yeah.
point you made, that a lot of the reason you can, by the sounds of it, you can spot this now, these patterns, these problems, is because you've done the inner work on yourself. You've done the self-discovery. And to your point, a lot of times a lot of people still need to work on them. I think we all need to work on ourselves, but a lot of people still need to work on ourselves. And I think it's a journey. It'll happen for the rest of our lives. But the more actions you take, the more inner work you do, meditation, mindset, NLP, mind work, whatever you do, psychology therapy, whatever it is you do, I believe it allows us to be more cognizant and more mindful, and to spot, to pay attention to these things, and not to discount a person entirely based on one or two little red flags, but also to be aware that, okay, this is happening. I see this and this and this, and nipping it in the bud, or removing the person from your life.
Yeah, or set the boundaries at the beginning. For
Mm,
example, if you're starting a job and they say, what is your preferred salary? You have to be honest, because most of the time we don't want to, but because we're afraid of that they won't take us, they won't think that we are, they may think that we are money hungry or whatever. But the way you phrase it, it shows that you are confident and you have something to give. Same with a relationship. Like, I've never set out the boundaries, but for example, now I set out the boundaries. I don't have any of like an ex that I talk to, that there's no intimacy, nothing. But like I would keep them around for, and now I just stop it, because you have, in order to build a new framework,
mhm, mhm.
you have to start from the foundation.
That is a very good point. That is the foundation that is you. Tell us a little more about that, because that is, I agree. You have to start from the foundation of you, whether it's work or jobs or raises or promotions or making more money or friendships or intimate relationships. Tell us a little more about what you mean by that. Start with the foundation. I think that's a very valid point.
Yeah, I think it starts from watching a lot of Property Brothers.
Cool. Tell me more.
Big old houses, and it'll look brand new, modern, and
True.
it's so beautiful the way they fix it. And they have to start with the frame, and if the foundation is not straight or aligned, they have to fix that, and that's the most costing. So same with us, our foundation is what we think about our parents, our brothers, our sisters, like the big bulk of growing up. When we didn't know ourselves, we're just taking in information, like it's all giving to us what we think we are, how we,
Sure.
everything.
Yep,
So
you're right.
that's the starting.
I think you're right, and part of me has been self-discovering, and these beliefs that parents, culture, grandparents, religion, the media, government, teachers, all the beliefs, and you have to, you can, you can't, you should, you shouldn't, all this stuff, and realizing is that actually true? Is that actually, do I believe that? Does that work for me? Is that who I am? Is that who I want to stand for? Is that really true? I think you're right. Looking at that, and like you said, Property Brothers, looking at the foundation, because if the foundation isn't strong, then everything else you're going to do is going to crumble, and you're going to attract the wrong people, the wrong employees, the wrong clients, the wrong companies to hire you, the wrong, I say clients, sorry, the wrong friends, the wrong intimate partners, the wrong intimate relationships, without you, the foundation of working on yourself. And you, like me, are someone who's done a lot of self work, self development, inner work, and even thinking about it, paying attention, and reflecting on it. I think is powerful. Is very powerful. I'm sure
Yeah.
you'd agree. Yeah. There's a saying I heard. I can't remember who said it, but then the saying goes like this: action plus reflection equals progress. So reflection without action is useless, because you don't have anything to base it on. And then action without reflection is can be a very big waste of time, money, and energy because you're just doing the same, like you said, the same patterns, attracting the same stuff, the same crap to ourselves over and over. But action plus reflection equals progress in everything, in work, in your life, your health, your relationships. So I thought that was a really interesting quote that I read. I'm trying to remember the author.
Yeah, that's good to know. So you have to reflect, and then the action might be the same because it's easier to reflect. I find that a lot of people after one or two um, work related trauma or relationship, they know that, oh, that person was so insecure and they didn't allow me to have friends, and you could see that, and you said, oh, I don't want to ever have to go through that again.
Yeah.
But the action's harder. Like, I listened to this Sadhguru. He's a mystic guru from India. He's talking about karma and how that's the action that you're taking. So your action might be harder to fix because sometimes it's subconscious.
Well, exactly. And until we realize it and make it conscious, I think you're right.
Yeah.
People, we often don't even realize we're doing these things. Then years later, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I was doing that. I can't believe I didn't realize. And you're right. I think that's why both reflection, but having a mentor, taking a course, doing something transformative is key and is powerful that will help you shift that, help you change that, right? And change that in yourself.
Yeah, being conscious of everything, what you're going to do, um, is the key. Like, I seen my girlfriends that transformed 360, and I lived with her, so she was always admiring me, but
Hmm.
it's because she didn't feel that she could do that,
Hmm.
like, improve or change. But now she's totally different.
Interesting. So, and you're right. I think it's that lack of belief, again, which is where mentorship courses, friends, transformational events are great because
Mm.
other people can believe in you until you believe in you. But you're right. I think that's a lot of it's a lack of belief as well, and that's why the habits patterns continue because we don't think we're good enough or worth it, unconsciously, subconsciously, or we have imposter syndrome, or we think we're going to be found out, or we don't think we're as good as we say we are, or as other people say we are, or whatever. Right. So,
The time to decide on a job, it seems so great, but then you have to ask, why is the turnover rate so bad? Well, because the management is an asshole.
I think
Or
like
something.
there's a reason. There's a reason for everything. For every action, there's an opposite reaction. So, what are these actions and reactions? And then you trace it back. Like, what is the actions happening that, to your point, that are people are leaving, people are not calling companies back, people are starting their own businesses and leaving what they were doing for years, or refusing to go back to a company, or refusing to go back inside an office and saying, no, I'm working from home. Yeah, I think people need to start paying attention to that as well.
Mhm.
Very cool. Very cool. Would you say what other any other thoughts to leave people with on how to stop the habits? You said if you want to stop a habit, stop the habit and stop the habit to stop the habit. You told me that earlier. Tell us a little more about that because that was interesting.
Yeah, it's that simple, but it's not from my own thought. It's from the yogic teaching. He
Mm-hmm.
to stop your drama and everything. Just stop. Like, don't act. That's why I'm not doing anything. I'm just I'm waiting for 2 more months, and I'm not changing jobs. I'm not changing place of living. I'm getting into a relationship. Nothing. Just totally stop. And it's good. I like this stop.
It can be good to just stop things, right? And just right. It can be very, very good just to stop and to reflect because if we're in the middle of something, in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the craziness, we can't reflect. And I love that you've done that, especially because you're doing 2 months and I know you're walking around because you have the baby there and giving you both some exercise.
And the a lot of fear, and I did have that when I was like 20 when I had
Mhm.
a miscarriage. But um you don't have to fear so much. You don't have to be in your head so much. Just enjoy the weather. It's not snowing. Like simple things. And the secret is in your title. How to stop. Just stop.
Fair. And it can be that easy. And I think you're right. It's finding that joy. It's finding and I've even had that lesson too, finding the joy in everything, in anything, finding the joy and the things that light you up, and find the joy in what you're doing and everything. And if you're doing things all day that you don't enjoy, well, either you're in the wrong job, or you need to outsource a lot of it, or trade or barter with other people at work, or ask for an assistant. Or if you're an entrepreneur, hire a virtual assistant. My mentor's virtual assistant company is great, by the way. So if anyone needs a
Oh
VA,
yeah.
let me know. Yeah, yeah, it's
And
amazing.
you have to enjoy yourself,
You do.
like in the way that you have to be happy by yourself. And
Uh,
the way to do that is not to have too much thoughts, like negative thoughts, thoughts that someone said. Like I had to battle my own thoughts. For example, my sister was not supportive
mm,
of this decision that I'm making. But and it took some time because it's like these people are important to you, but it's like you never, what do you mean support? You've never given me a penny for it.
mm,
So it's not monetary support. You've never been there emotionally, so it's not emotional or physical.
mm,
You're like 700 kilometers away, so what kind of support you're talking about?
mm.
And these people, for example families, they have this opinion because it's a reflection of themselves, because they said, oh, I didn't want to have more children, so that means it's going to be difficult. Yeah, everyone has their own opinion, but you have to be strong in your in the way you live.
Right on. I completely agree. Yeah, everyone thinks they know best for us, but it's really, and I do believe strong in mentors, coaches, absolutely, seeking advice from others. Although, yeah, be careful who you seek advice from. Are they doing, or have they done what you want to do?
Yeah,
Um, and is that the best advice? Because you're right, everyone has an opinion. It's like
mostly it's a reflection of themselves.
well, and that's, you're right. You're right. People project all over us, and it's a reflection in themselves, exactly, of insecurities or things they didn't do or they didn't achieve. Um,
Their fears,
yeah,
it's valid, but like you have to own up to yourself, and you're going to do all the work. So at the end of the day is only you.
right on. Yeah, and instead of my suggestion, people, instead of numbing the pain or the discomfort or filling the void, or distracting yourself from feelings and from thinking, distracting yourself with food, or alcohol or drugs or sex, or overworking yourself, or whatever
So
the
much distractions.
exactly. And people, that's the problem. I think you'd agree with, people distract themselves so much from paying attention and focus, and because this is uncomfortable, this sucks, or this makes you feel like crap. And yeah, that's okay to look at that, because then you
Yeah,
can look at it, work through it, and goes away, versus, well, I'm just gonna, have a drink or smoke weed every time I feel this way, or drugs or overwork or whatever it is. It never goes away if you just push it away. And to your point, you have those repeating patterns. But when you pay attention, you look at it, you address it, you reflect on it, and work through it, and you're okay facing it. And yes, I get it. It can be scary as hell and bother. I get it. But it's only when the only way out is through. I love that saying. The only way out is through. You
yeah,
got to look at it. You got to pay attention instead of distracting, like you said.
yeah. There's tons of distractions, and a lot of people distract themselves. And
Yeah.
even like I'm noticing a new pattern is this. I'm like so addicted to the sun, so I'm already planning January. I'm like,
Eh,
okay, maybe it will be 6 months. It's terrible because it is a form of distraction, but then if you do it healthily, like once or twice a year, I think is okay, but it is a form of distraction. We
Yeah.
can't help it. I guess we're human. We have flaws.
True. Not perfect. And you're right. I believe in rest and resting and stepping back. Although you're right, if you're always distracting yourself with I don't know, TV or movies or again, food, booze, drugs, sex, you name it,
Yeah.
overworking ourselves, extra work, cleaning, you're right. It doesn't resolve anything. We're just distracting, prolonging the problem. And then people wonder why these patterns keep, people say, why does this always happen to me? Or why does it keep happening to me? Well, it's because there's something you're not seeing. There's something you're not doing, something you're pushing away and ignoring or distracting yourself on. And I was there. I'm not, casting the first stone. I was there.
No, me
And
too.
yeah.
But you notice that we're we're choosing to be more single and working on ourselves, and
Mhm.
then when the
True.
right person comes, we will know. But when we're younger, it's like we're monogamous. Like you're always in a relationship.
Always looking for that better thing, whether it's work, a
Yeah,
better job, or a relationship, a better relationship, or a better friendship, better. But it's often, I think, what you nurture. Like you said, nurture yourself and work on yourself, and those great things will naturally come to you. Versus always looking for better and better. Your grass is greener where you water the grass.
exactly. That's true.
Very cool. Any last, thank you for being here, Joy. This has been great. And any last thoughts for people on stopping these patterns and like you said, stepping back and stopping the craziness, the dating, the whatever, the working, or you like a crazy person stepping back and reflecting, and stopping the pattern to stop the pattern. Any last thoughts for people, Joy?
Yeah, I would say meditation, like not like some form of meditation. For
Mhm.
example, breathing, um, because then you're in tune with yourself. At the end of the night, it's just you and your mind, and you need that to be healthy first.
Fair.
You need to be the best cheerleader for yourself. With all this like pandemic, we're not seeing people as much.
Mhm.
You, in order to cope with it, I would say you have to find a comfort zone with yourself, and then wherever you'll be, that's where you are.
Hmm. Fair enough. I like that because you're always with you. You're always with yourself, right? So it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, being okay with you, being okay with not being okay, and it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to ask for help too. I think that people need to realize it's okay not to be okay sometimes, and not to feel guilty or worried or anything, and it's okay to ask for help. It's totally okay. And I think no one achieves greatness all on their own. Anyone that's achieved greatness in life has had people helping them and supporting them, and I think that's a powerful thing to do and to be. So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And one thing I've realized too, with all this work, and now I teach it, the stuff that drives you nuts about other people is actually there's lessons in there for you. There's something out of balance in you, and that's why it drives you nuts. So instead of the blame game all the time, look at yourself and reflect. And I promise you that will be priceless. Of the things or people that drive you nuts about you, ask yourself, well, how is this about me? And why does that bother me so much? Do I need to do more of that? Do I need to be less of that? Do I need to be more like that person? Do I need to be less like that person? Do I need to, why is this driving me nuts? Why does this bother me so much? And I think that type of reflection is priceless. And in my courses, we teach that. It's one of my favorite days because people are like, oh my God, I'm
yeah,
exactly the same, or I need to do more boundaries, or I need to speak up more. That's why they drive me nuts when they say so much stuff when they do this, because I'm the one that needs to speak up more, or have more confidence, or more boundaries, or communicate, or show my value, or have more fun, or whatever. So it's a very valuable exercise to reflect at what drives us nuts about other people and other things, and say, what's out of balance in me, and what do I need to do to change it?
yeah. I like the one tool that you taught us to, like you have a toolbox, and then you have to take out the tools for different situations,
I
and
know.
that helped me a lot.
Very cool. I'm glad. I'm very glad. I'm very glad. Well, amazing, my friend. Again, it's been great having you here with me. Everyone, this is Joy Han Nguyen. Thanks for your time, Joy, and
Thank you.
yeah, to your success.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
You
everyone. Have your
have
best day
questions
ever.
or
Talk.
you want tools and coaching, James is amazing. He has a good team, and I love his seminars. So if you could tune in, and it'll be great for you.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that very much. I got my own cheer squad here. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate that.